I hope it's just everyone just sues the living out of all of these people. Just constant lawsuits to the point where lawyers smell blood in the water and they're just starting to even offer it on TV.
So I want to talk about this. This actually just came down. Lunduke was on the show just a couple days ago, and Lunduke is always breaking stories. Saw this come across my timeline. This is massive. The Supreme Court just ruled that reverse discrimination is still legally discrimination. If an organization discriminates against whites or cis men, illegal. So many organizations in the tech industry do this type of reverse racism.
The bigger story is I can't believe this had to go to the Supreme Court.
That's
Correct.
what I said. The timeline that we're in, that we in the last month have had the UK Supreme Court saying women are biological women, and now here in America we're like, racism is bad. Like, yes, we're on top of things.
The fact that this needed to be said is probably the biggest issue here. But Blabs, would you go ahead and read through this ruling, if you don't mind, just so we're all on the same page here.
All right,
so you see, it was decided on June 5th here.
Today.
Yes.
All right, so petitioner Marlene Ames, a heterosexual woman, has worked for the Ohio Department of Youth Services in various roles since 2004. In 2019, the agency interviewed Ames for a new management position, but ultimately hired another candidate, a lesbian woman. The agency subsequently demoted Ames for her role as a program administrator and later hired a gay man to fill that role. Ames then filed this lawsuit against the agency under Title VII, alleging that she was denied the management promotion and demoted because of her sexual orientation. The district court granted summary judgment to the agency, and the Sixth Circuit affirmed. The courts below analyzed Ames' claims under McDonnell Douglas Corp. v. Green 411 U.S. 792, which sets forth the traditional framework for evaluating disparate treatment claims that rest on circumstantial evidence. At the first step of that framework, the plaintiff must make a prima facie showing that the defendant acted with a discriminatory motive. Like the district court, the Sixth Circuit held that Ames had failed to meet her prima facie burden because she had not shown background circumstances to support the suspension that the defendant is that unusual employer. Scroll.
I think that's all we need to know.
Okay.
Really? Yeah. I mean, it's okay. But the idea that this needed to be said in general is insane. And the reason why I wanted to talk about this is we've seen, as pointed out by Lunduke, this isn't just a tech thing. This is across all entertainment. In gaming, it's an epidemic. And this was pointed out by Grums over on X, as Microsoft and Obsidian broke the law on Avowed, right? Like we saw this. Remember they were talking when this guy, he's like, he was talking about, hey, I will hire black people, and like that's it. You know, like that is now officially, and I can't believe that it has to even be said, that is against the law. It's so you wonder if there are companies in the gaming space that are seeing this going like, oh, we kind of need to button things up a little bit, right? Now, obviously there needs to be the burden of proof, the idea that you were passed over because of something else. And I've talked about my situation 5 years ago or so when I worked for a company in Canada, right? That passed over me because they said I was white. They said I was a white man, right? Talked about that before. Now, obviously, we're dealing with an American ruling and not a Canadian ruling here, so I couldn't have any sort of issues with them. But I think this, like I said, discrimination is discrimination, and I'll be interested to see if there's any dominoes that fall because of this. If people who were passed up on jobs, because we've been told privately. I know I have been told. I've had DMs from people who've told me I got passed on this job because I was white or whatever. And sometimes you shrug that off as like, well, don't be a victim, right? And then other times they're like, no, I have proof that that's because, right? So if there's verifiable proof that you've been passed over, which is going to be very hard to do, you could be looking at a nice lawsuit here.
And that's I hope it's just everyone just sues the living shit out of all of these people. Just constant lawsuits to the point where lawyers smell blood in the water and they're just starting to even offer it on TV. Just anyone, like, just make this. I want to see all these corporations crumble personally.
I think it'd be it's only going to take one. It's only going to take one where somebody gets sued and they have to pay out $50 million or whatever it is. And, to them, it's going to be a line on their annual revenue or whatever, but it's going to be bigger because it's going to set a precedent, right? And the Supreme Court has done that here and said, like, this is illegal. You should not be doing this. And
then hopefully that'll make them start firing certain people. You start getting rid of that poison that's infested itself everywhere. That'd be great if that can happen.
We can only hope. It's so silly to think that hiring people and working with people based off merit is seen as almost controversial to some people in 2025.
Well, they did a great job of making every American value evil, right? That's what they did. They made everything that we stand for, the things that we value. They turned that to that's being a supremacist of some sort, right? That's an evil to do, and instead they've put in this place this commie racist garbage everywhere, basically.
Well, I mean, if you recall, I don't know if you remember this, Phoenix, was before you came on, when Kotaku was looking for their new editor-in-chief. I did actually put in my resume and apply to be the editor-in-chief. And if you also recall, I did not even get an interview, but the person who was hired was an African-American man. So it does make me think, was I passed over because I'm white? Because nobody has a resume like me that I guarantee put a resume in for that. And would I have taken the job? No, but it would have been funny. Yes. Right. So anyways, it's, the fact that this even needs to be said in this year is amazing. And I know that I'm not alone and that I've been passed over because of this. And I've been, but once again, the company I dealt with was Canadian. And if only this was just put across the entire world where, hey, we're going to hire you because you're the best person for the job, not because of where you put your wiener.
The entertainment industry in particular, it's pretty blatant about skin color, all that stuff. So I'd be curious to see if anyone has the balls to do lawsuits there, because the problem is they'll blacklist you too. So it's got to take someone brave to go out there and do it.
And they need to be rewarded for doing it, Yes, you will be blacklisted from working, which is why you need to make the money that you wouldn't be able to do make your entire life.
That's the angle. That's a perfect angle. Yeah.
Yeah. Like I have been blacklisted. I can't get a job, whatever it may be. So, yeah, man, what a mess. What an absolute mess. All right. Miku came in with a 5, says, easy lawsuits everywhere. These people yap so much in order to virtue signal on social media and on video. If you think you were discriminated against because you were white, start gathering evidence now. DEI
Amen.
and bridge slurping propaganda is everywhere. Yes, Miku. Yes. Your mom told me you should hit the subscribe button. You don't want to disappoint mom, do you?